Should be equal to me, but when I have overhead lighting, it's a little weird.
All right. I think we are live. Uh, yep, we are. Welcome to the Daily Objective. It is day 79 of the war in Israel. I'm joined by a returning Mark Pellegrino. And what better topic to talk about on Christmas Eve than Cenk Uygur? He recently debated Douglas Murray on Piers Morgan's show. He was his usual angry self, but he, much like many people on the anti-Israel side, likes to repeat the use of the word genocide when talking about Israel. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the rest of the debate. Cenk as a uh, the proper representative of what the Palestinian uh, side is like. Mark, you've seen the debate. What are your initial thoughts about it?
Well, I've seen the part that's been going viral on X, which is the total beatdown that Douglas Murray gives that guy, and I'm happy to see that because I've seen Alex Epstein debate him. He's completely disingenuous, totally dishonest guy. I'm amazed that he was able to stay silent through that beating because it was a relentless, and much needed takedown. I thought Douglas Murray was unapologetically on the right side, which is rare for pundits, I think, out there in the world. I see lots of people trying to claim that the Palestinians are the victims now, that the Israel has to stay its hand. They have to pull back. They can't be as intense as they are, which I don't quite find them intense at all. I wish they were quite a bit more. But I thought Douglas Murray delivered a knockout, and not only just a knockout, but had him on the canvas and was pounding his face into the canvas. And we need that. We need to see morally righteous people on the side of Israel, people with a huge following like Douglas Murray standing up for right. We don't get enough of that anymore. So I get the sense. Tell me if I'm wrong, but this bodes to me. This sort of bodes that there might be a turning point in our culture. We're headed for a turning point that's pretty positive.
Uh, I'm not sure I'm as optimistic as you. I do love the fact that Douglas Murray, the work he's been doing these past few months has been really, he's been Israel's best defender, prominent defender. Much like the Ayn Rand Center UK, he has dedicated himself to this cause only because he realizes how, if we lose this, nothing else actually matters. So I think he's doing great work. I do have to say, he also expressed in this debate one of the worst ideas I've heard of the last few months, which is that he said that Cenk Uygur should leave his bedroom. I think the world is a better place if Cenk Uygur stays in his bedroom. We don't need to see any more of him. But other than that, yeah, I think Douglas did very well. I want us to do something that is rarely done, but objectivists like to do, and I think Cenk tried to do, which is define genocide. If you're gonna use a word, maybe try to define it. Now, Cenk did actually give some sort of definition on this show. I would say, good for him, but the problem is the actual definition that he gave, which is genocide is when you target a specific people and kill a lot of civilians. I mean, this
Oh
is
boy.
I don't know if he made it up on the fly, if this is what they think is gonna help further their despicable cause. But I'm looking here at the Oxford definition is the deliberate killing of a large number of people from a particular nation or ethnic group with the aim of destroying that nation or group. Israel has no interest or desire to eliminate any nation or group. They want to eliminate the threat. They want to prevent October 7th from happening again. I think they should, do a lot more, which would result in many more deaths on the side of the Palestinians in Gaza and in Judea and Samaria and the West Bank of the Jordan River. But that would still not constitute a genocide. So definitions are important. They're important if you want to, think clearly and act accordingly. They're also important if you want to, if your aim is destruction. It's important for you to ignore definitions then and come up with them, and make sure that they help you mislead people into your position on things.
You think Douglas Murray changed his mind at all?
Change Cenk's mind?
Yeah.
No. But I don't think you go into such a debate thinking you would change that person's mind. He did say something about anybody who thinks this is a genocide is something to the effect of either stupid or evil. I think that's true. I think it's often evil. In the case of Cenk, absolutely, I think it's evil. And yeah, I mean, I personally wouldn't debate somebody like that at all. But I understand why somebody would, and I think the goal of that is the audience, not the person on the other side.
I would tend to agree, but one hopes that there's enough honesty and rationality in a guy like that that he can turn around.
What you mean, honesty and rationality in somebody like Cenk?
Well, I remember Rand wrote one time about what compels a guy to stand up in the Kremlin on a soapbox and preach democracy to a crowd when he knows that it'll probably end in his own demise. And I remember her saying that there's an appeal to reason there, the optimistic idea that, well, maybe it's an ideal that everybody is susceptible to reason. You're going to move somebody out there, even somebody who seems unmovable and ideological. I think that's why, even though a Douglas Murray knows in one sense that has to appeal to the crowd of people who may be on the fence or not quite understand what's going on in this issue, there's got to be a part of him that feels, I can not only beat this guy, but turn him a little bit. Do you think that's great? There's a part of me that thinks that, like, it's because I think it's hard for rational people to understand the totally irrational. It's hard for the good to understand the evil. Remember how innocent Howard Rourke was? He was innocent of the disingenuousness of some of the people around him. He helped Keating. It was as if he didn't really understand, couldn't conceptualize the idea of a man wanting to use him to destroy him or to beat him out. And I think normal people are like that. Maybe even a Douglas Murray. You think, I'm going to appeal to the rational element in this crazy son of a bitch, and maybe things are going to turn around in him.
So I put Cenk more in the category of Ellsworth Toohey than Keating, not as intelligent. Really? Yeah. I mean,
this guy's a puppet master. This guy he's a clickbaiter. He just uses
he's a wannabe puppet master.
People. Okay.
I don't think many people are lining up to be puppets because he's maybe not charismatic enough, not intelligent enough, but I definitely think he is he is knowingly working towards a world that is worse than the one we currently live in.
Well, that's crazy. I haven't heard a single intelligent concept out of that guy's mouth.
Well, I want to go to something that
why does he have such a following? Is it the Young Turks thing? What's the deal? They're all a bunch of nincompoops.
That is a good question, which I ask about them and about many other bad actors out there. I wonder why Piers Morgan has such a following, because he doesn't actually say anything. He doesn't take a side, and by not taking a side, he is taking a side. But there was this exchange that I thought was interesting. So Piers Morgan. So Cenk goes, they're killing 6,000, 8,000 children, 6,000 women, of course, completely leaving out the fact that the numbers come from Hamas. We know with certainty that the numbers are not true, because we see that whenever they're actually fact checked, they're lying. We know that women and often children are armed by Hamas. And we also know that when they're not armed, Hamas is hiding behind them. None of that came into that. But of course, Piers Morgan isn't going to challenge him on something he agrees with. So Piers Morgan said, they're also killing terrorists. And Cenk's response was barely. Now, I watched this yesterday or the day before. I watched it again today. And I watched it like an hour after I saw the IDF publishing estimates that 7,860 terrorists were killed so far in the operation and the estimates. So then there's the question of the source of information. So the IDF's estimates are based on interrogations of captured terrorists, on the IDF's own ground and air operations. Cenk's information that his response to killing terrorists is based on what regular longtime viewers of the Young Turks will know is Cenk's favorite source of information out of which he pulled it, which is his own ass. Like you can see he is coming up with it. He's literally coming up with it on the spot. And as he is with a lot of what he says and promotes.
Here I was thinking it was like Al Jazeera, the Hamas Ministry of Health, and you pulled his own ass. I feel like I'm influencing the station.
I am working on my comedy. We've spoken about that. In some cases, I mean, this is an issue where on the one hand, almost feel guilty laughing at anything because of how horrible the situation is and how monstrous the enemy is, and the fact that anybody stands up for them is terrifying. Here in the West, we have so many people standing up for them. But yeah, it's Christmas Eve.
Well, I mean, I think it's guys like this should be laughed at. They should be lampooned. They should be made fun of. One thing the left does very well is they lampoon the right. Well, I mean, humor is quite effective weapon against evil, right? I mean, I think we're the only people on the face of the earth who think evil is a parasitic, weak, belief system action, whatever is evil, it's weak and parasitic, and if you laugh at it, you rob it of its power. And a guy like that should be laughed at. I mean, I think Douglas Murray did quite a bit to advance the cause by exposing this guy for what and just not exposing him, but mercilessly beating him down, because a guy like that deserves absolutely no mercy.
Yeah, and again, Douglas Murray has been doing that also on Piers Morgan's show. I just can't watch some of the people he talks to. But when I do watch, whether he's just reporting because he is in Israel, whether he's debating someone, he's doing amazing work. And one of the exchanges, which I guess also fall in the category of things that should be ridiculed, but on the other hand, it's amazing that somebody can be so prominent and make such arguments. So Douglas at some point said, it got very heated, and he says, "Your other guest, I don't know what kind of creature he is. He's kind of a low grade thug." And Cenk said, "Yeah, I know, because I'm Muslim. That's what you call all Muslims." And it's kind of clear at this point that he lost the debate. This is at the very end, and this is to his credit, and it's amazing to even say to his credit, he pulled this card out at the end rather than at the beginning, where people of his persuasion usually do. But yeah, it's still telling that this is where they go with it.
I mean, this guy doesn't deserve a career. He's incompetent in every way, and his opinions just suck. So hopefully this will draw some audience off of the guy.
Hopefully, though, again, I think you're too optimistic about the fact that people have he's been talking nonsense since the day the Young Turks started, or certainly since I first heard of them, and his audience has just only grown.
I mean, that's true, but has he ever been so thoroughly exposed as he was with Alex Epstein, who did it in a much more polite fashion, and Douglas Murray? I've never seen him. I mean, I don't watch the guy. He makes me want to throw up. But I mean, usually he sort of, bullies and rolls over people, and he couldn't roll over those two guys. And he looked like a deer caught in the headlights. He looked ashamed. And I can't tell you how satisfying that was to see him look ashamed and caught.
He should be ashamed. I'm guessing, Mark, you're not rushing to register as a Democrat so you can vote for him in the presidential primaries in the Democratic Party, because I understand he's a candidate, right?
I would register Democrat to vote for him because I'd want to see that spectacle. There's no way a guy like that could win. I mean, the American people, there's still I still have faith in the American people, and the remnants of the American sense of life are still there enough, and they're starting to bubble to the surface today in a way that gives me hope. I was just talking to a buddy about this. There's things happening in the world that makes me feel like we're turning a bit of a corner in a good way.
Well, there's no way a guy like that can win is something they said about another guy who ended up being a really, really bad president. So I don't know. I'm always worried, but what gives me some hope is the fact that our audience is here and Robert Nasser is in the chat with a super chat saying Cenk reinforces the beliefs of people who are raised on this bile and who are apoplectically angry about it. Sadly, there's a big audience for that. Yeah, that's the thing. Here at the Ayn Rand Center UK, the last few days, for those of you who haven't noticed, have been the best in the channel's history in terms of viewership and new subscribers. We're nowhere near competing with Cenk Uygur and the Young Turks. As good as things are and look.
Yeah, but don't you look? I think Americans in general are getting really, really fed up with the bullshit. I think they're getting fed up with the rage, the stomping of the feet, the balkanization of everybody into victim groups, and they're starting to rebel against that healthy contingent of American people are starting to rebel. Right? I mean, there's a movement for homeschooling, privatization. Universities are now starting to spring up in rebellion against, the Harvard, Penn, MIT shareholders there, donors are withholding their legacies from these universities and probably going to put them other places. People are just fed up with this bullshit, and I think that's very good for us. It doesn't take, if you have the right timing, it doesn't take a whole lot to push something in the right direction.
I hope you're right. Yeah, the fact that things are so bad on the other side is it makes it maybe easier for us, but then again, the other side is it's not the other side of a political map. It's kind of both sides. So we do have our work cut out for us, but yeah, Mark, you recently did a video on Israel, which has over 4,000 views, and I will put it in the chat because it's Christmas Eve. I'm also the producer behind the scenes, so I'm a bit slow with everything there, but it'll be there in a second. I just want to quickly thank our other super chatters. Thank you, Bonnie. Thank you, Gail. Thank you, Robert Nasser again, who says, meanwhile, a joyous Christmas holiday to all of the Ayn Rand Center UK fans, followers, and friends. And please join Amy and me tonight for 5 minutes. That is, I believe, at 6 p.m. Eastern. But Robert can correct me if I'm wrong on that.
All right, yeah, that would be a good show. I've
And
done it. I love
yeah,
being on it. I want to do it again.
and so there was one other thing I wanted to share uh, from the show, but I can't find where it is in my notes. So, Mark, if you have anything you want to add while I look for it, and yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think this conflict says a lot about the state of civilization today. Israel really is right now the vanguard for the civilized world, and it's very, very important that they win. And I think a few people out there understand that. A network at least sort of understands it. Believe it or not, I see a lot of pro-Israel content on Fox. I don't see it anywhere else. They're still unapologetically saying the right things. There's something interesting. I heard Douglas Murray say it. I've been hearing some pundits say it, and I'm wondering if they stole it from Rand. The moral concept that the all of the casualties are the moral responsibility of the aggressor. I have never heard that before in anything but an objectivist argument for legitimate warfare. And now it seems almost mainstreamed. Do you think that that aspect of objectivism has somehow seeped its way into the culture by stealth? Because everybody's using words that she used in the 60s, 70s.
Possibly, yeah. I've even seen, I like the fact that, on this channel in the past, we've debated whether it's right to use the word savages when talking specifically about the Palestinians, which Rand referred to the Israel's Arab enemies as a whole as savages. Of course, we referred to the culture. This was not a claim that they're somehow savages by birth, as anybody who read anything by Rand would know. And now I see it a lot. Douglas Carswell, the former member of parliament here in the UK, who I interviewed on this channel about a month ago, I follow him on Twitter. He uses that word all the time. I think, yeah, elements, and I do think elements of Rand's thought are, we see them popping up. Is it enough? I don't know, but if it's not enough, we are here to,
I
fill.
think it's very telling, and I'm trying to put it out there so that you're a little bit more optimistic. Because yes, you should unapologetically use the word savages to describe the Palestinian people. I'm saying people as a whole, because they are aiding and abetting the monsters. They are themselves in the grips of a psychopathy, and they need to be taught a lesson. And the lesson is that you can never be savages in civilization without experiencing dreadful medieval consequences. You will die if you harm innocent people. They need to know that as a people. As Douglas Murray said in that debate, I think he was showing up the fallacy of the two-state solution. It's like, everybody in the people, most of the people in the West Bank, want Jews dead. Most of the people in Gaza want Jews dead. This is, that it's almost a cliche now to watch Palestinian children talk with glee about, martyring themselves, stabbing Jews, running them over. There was an article in the New York Post a while back of a Palestinian kid who actually went over to Israel at 12, ran away from home, from a very abusive home life that was very centered around this pan-Arab nationalistic religious fanaticism. And he got adopted by a Jewish man, and he became Jewish. But he would say that some of the mythologies running around about Jews in the culture, they have three legs. They want to kill you and consume you. This is what these kids are subjected to. This is what's birthing out this young generation of stone throwers and suicide bombers, and somebody who would gleefully walk up to a Jew in the middle of the street and stab him with a butcher knife, or run him down and hack him to death with a meat cleaver. I've seen these videos. They're there. This is real. And for people to call it what it is, and to not fall into the trap, the altruistic trap, that they should be feeling sympathy for these people, it to me really bodes well for the advance of civilization. Maybe I'm nuts. Maybe I'm too optimistic.
Well, we need some optimism. I've been providing the pessimism on this channel for the past few months. So I want to quickly get to one other point from the show, from the debate. So Cenk says at some point, the argument is that Hamas threatens XYZ, then killed 1,200 people on October 7th, and now we have to worry about what they might do if they had infinite power, the kind of power that Israel has. He used the word might 4 times, then he was interrupted, then he shouted at Piers Morgan, "Don't interrupt me," and then he used the word might another 3 times.
I want to kill I want to hurt this guy. I swear to God, I want to hurt this guy.
I mean, so the shocking thing, like, this is, the lengths to which these people go depart from reality. When October 7th happened, and then the leader of Hamas, Ismail Haniyeh, said, we will do October 7th again and again and again until there is no Israel. and their defenders, and Douglas Murray actually came back to him and said something like, I take Hamas's word because they've already done it over Cenk Uygur's word, trying to actually tell us that what we know to be true is not. I mean, that was one of the moments that pissed me off the most, in that. But we see this again. We see this from the pro-Palestinian side all the time. The lies are a part of their MO that they wouldn't survive without.
Yeah, they lie and then they magnify that with bots online, and then that magnified lie becomes the truth in a lot of people's eyes. But I think there's a really strong group of people who have reason and reality on their side who are fighting this unapologetically. And I know, at least on my feed, the bots attack me less and less and less and less. The more hardened I get in my position, and the more righteous, the less they attack. So I think that's our weapon: truth, righteousness.
And of course, the support of our viewers and contributors and members always helps. Thank you, Apollo Zeus, for the chat. Thank you, Ginger Clark, for the very generous super chat. She says, agree with Mark about Americans being fed up and trying to find a reasonable course. Thank you for being out there to help them. Thank you as well. As I've said, we've had a very good few days, and as the famous Mariah Carey song goes, all I want for Christmas is for you to like, subscribe, comment below, and engage in the comments. That helps a lot. And of course, share our content, share the gift of rationality with your best frenemies, the people most in need of it. And I will plug one other thing. I'll put it in the chat right now. I have been I've done a couple of interviews in Hebrew because I think Israel needs Israel needs these ideas as well. One of them is going to premiere in about 2 minutes. I'm putting the link. It is in Hebrew, so if you can't, if you don't speak Hebrew, it might not be there might not be a reason to watch it, but you can still go over and like it and give it some love. It's a channel with very few subscribers, so every little helps, as they say. And thank you, Kathleen, for the super chat. She says, happy Christmas to all you lovely people of ARCUK. Mark, any parting words before?
Well, I can see why Mariah Carey cut that out for the song, because that's not very economical.
Yes, but if the 87 people watching us live right now all like the video, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and share, then who knows, maybe Cenk Uygur will watch this, and if Douglas Murray didn't convince him, maybe we will. Like I said, I'm not going to invite him to this channel. I don't think he would come if I did. But Mark, if you want to debate him, I would watch that. And
I might not
chat
be
as long as it's on your channel and not his.
If I'm in the same room with him, I don't know if I could restrain myself from hitting him in the throat.
This is why when I disagree with you on Mad Men or anything, we always do it, Oceans
remotely. Hey, look, I also want to encourage people to watch my Israel video. All 87 people watching, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, donate, keep this stuff going. People need to hear this intellectual content. This kind of conversation is very important. Watch my video on Israel.
Yes, that is also in the chat. You need to scroll up a bit, but that is in the chat as well. It's at 4,000 views. Let's make that 8,000, and then let's get to millions. Like I said, this channel has also been doing well. The fact that some more people are listening to us than ever before is somewhat encouraging. That's my bit of optimism.
Very good. Awesome.
Thanks, Mark. We will be back here. What was the last thing I missed? That
I said, great seeing you.
Yeah, you too. And we will be back here tomorrow for the Daily Objective at our usual time. I don't know who will join me for that. It is Christmas. I'm not gonna impose it on anybody. Hopefully somebody will join me. If not, it'll be a solo episode. But yeah, there's a lot more to be said. Tuesday, we are going to do a show about the Oslo Accords. I really encourage people to watch that. How the Oslo Accords led to this. The title of that is the Oslo Accords: Israel's Real War Crime. So yeah, I have a lot to say about that. And we have a lot of great shows this week. They're all scheduled. You can pre-like them, make a note, uh, click the bell icon and whatever it is. Thanks, Mark, and I'll see
Thanks,
you
man.
again later this week. Bye.
Peace.